In Western media, particularly in animation, the funny fat guy has become a staple archetype. From Homer Simpson and Peter Griffin to Fred Flintstone, Patrick Star, Po from Kung Fu Panda, Samwise Gamgee and Samuel Tarly, these characters are among the most beloved and recognizable in pop culture. However, there's an undeniable pattern. Almost all of these characters are men. This points to a deeper issue in media representation, the disparity in how fat male and female characters are portrayed and received. While these male characters are often the butt of jokes regarding their weight, they are also seen as lovable, humorous, and relatable. Despite their unhealthy habits, they are celebrated and often idolized, which blurs their intended purpose as cautionary figures. The popularity of such characters sometimes leads audiences to overlook the negative aspects of their behavior and instead embrace them as cultural icons. However, the same leniency doesn't extend to fat female characters. Their representation in media is far more limited and often negative. When they do appear, they're frequently cast in antagonist roles or portrayed as undesirable. Classic Disney characters such as Ursula from The Little Mermaid or the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland exemplify this trend. These characters serve as foils to the thin, conventionally attractive protagonist. Male characters, by contrast, enjoy a more balanced representation in Disney media. There are both villainous and heroic fat male characters such as Maurice from Beauty and the Beast, King Fergus from Brave, and Pumbaa from The Lion King. Meanwhile, fat female characters are rarely given the same narrative depth or positive portrayal. Even in shows like Kim Possible, male characters exhibit a range of body types, while nearly all the female characters conform to a single, slim archetype. The one notable exception is the recurring villainess Diane Amy, who is portrayed as obsessive and unappealing, a have-not compared to the rest of the cast. This exemplifies the broader issue. Male characters are allowed to exist in diverse forms, while female characters are largely restricted to narrow beauty standards. This isn't exclusive to Disney. In Shrek 2, the fairy godmother is portrayed as a larger, controlling antagonist. In Friends, Fat Monica is used as a comedic foil in flashbacks, reinforcing the idea that her thinner self is a significant improvement. Meg, from Family Guy, who is somewhat larger than her peers, is routinely mocked and bullied. There is, however, one genre where larger women have found more acceptance: musical theatre. Productions like Hairspray, Chicago, and even Pitch Perfect celebrate fuller-figured female characters. The muses from Hercules and characters like Mercedes from Glee offer some refreshing portrayals, but they remain exceptions rather than the rule. So why does this disparity exist? Historically, beauty standards for women have become more rigid over time. In ancient and pre-industrial societies, larger bodies in women were often seen as symbols of wealth, fertility, and health. From prehistoric Venus figurines to Renaissance art by Peter Paul Rubens, the ideal female body was fuller and rounder. This changed with the Industrial Revolution. Food became more accessible, and being overweight no longer signified wealth. Slimness came to represent self-discipline and refinement, especially for women. Mass media reinforced these ideals, idolizing thin female figures like Audrey Hepburn and Marilyn Monroe. While men faced some physical ideals, their value was more often linked to their achievements than their appearance. This societal standard is reflected in media. Men can be unattractive yet successful, often winning the admiration of others through humor, bravery, or intelligence. Overweight male figures in history and pop culture, from Winston Churchill to Rick Ross, have achieved fame and influence, often without facing the same level of criticism that overweight women endure. Artists like Lizzo, for example, face disproportionate scrutiny despite their success. This leads to an important realization. While it's crucial to recognize the unfairness of the double standard, the broader issue lies in how society normalizes obesity. When a large segment of the population is overweight, it's no longer just an individual issue, but a systemic one. The normalization of obesity in Western societies is reflected in its media, where fat characters are common and even celebrated, but only under certain conditions and gender expectations. Interestingly, countries like Japan and South Korea have managed to largely sidestep this trend. The media rarely features overweight characters, and when they do, it's often in a negative light. This reflects broader cultural norms and urban planning strategies that encourage physical activity and healthier eating habits, leading to significantly lower obesity rates. Ultimately, while solving the systemic issues behind obesity would be ideal, media can still take steps to level the playing field. Introducing more diverse and positive representations of fat women could help break down long-standing stereotypes and double standards. If you found this discussion insightful, consider subscribing for more video essays and commentary. Share your thoughts in the comments below and stay tuned for the next installment.